hello, hello, hello.
I'm like, oh.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Where are you from, Amber?
So I'm originally from Maryland. I'm an East Coaster.
Nice.
Yes. And what about yourself?
I'm actually from Oklahoma City.
Okay.
I was born there, and then I'm getting feedback again. Okay, so I have to stay on here. I was born in Oklahoma City, and then yeah, and I moved to LA, and I've been back and forth. So I like to say I live both places.
That's I totally understand that because I feel like you never lose the connection to where you're from. But even if you've been in Los Angeles long enough, you feel very, very connected to this area.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how long have you been here?
I've been in Los Angeles for a decade at this point. Yes, I feel very seasoned, an Angelino. It's my home, away from home.
Right. Do you get home often?
It depends. There were years where I was home all the time, and then as of late, I've been trying to be very intentional about like planning routes here.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to do it less, which is difficult, but we're here. We're here.
Did you go to college out here?
No, well, I went to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising for it's like a postgraduate program. It's not a master's degree, but it's like a accelerated program for people who already have their like bachelor's or another degree from somewhere else. I did that, but I went to the University of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania for undergrad and then went home for a few years and then made my way out west.
Nice. So you've always been into fashion, like even in high school, just always had a thing for fashion?
Yes. I feel like the thing is, okay, my mother, I like to call her my she did not sew for a living. But it was one of her one of her favorite hobbies, if you will, and something I think she actually did study like fashion merchandising at one point, and I think it was something she considered as a career path. So as a kid, I spent a lot of time in fabric stores, a lot of time like Joanne specifically. I think that was like a big store back east or in Maryland, where I'm from, and like just spent a lot of time in there, kind of like playing with notions or like picking out patterns, like think through the books. Like, so I know how to do it, feels instinctual to know how to do these things. And so I kind of have this like skill set from just seeing it and seeing it, but I don't necessarily have like I don't want to like sew or design. Like, I think it's a very strong skill that I'm not strong at.
But you like the field. You like aspects of it.
I like the creative aspect of it. I like to, like, there's something really, really cool about if you were to either make a pattern or find a pattern, then you source the fabric, you source the notions, you source your zippers, all those things, and then to see like a finished product that fits you perfectly. Like, there's just something really, really like special about that. Like, and I love shopping and curating, so.
How have you seen the industry change over time, particularly now post pandemic, where we went into this lax state?
Yeah, I feel like the industry. Okay, I feel like there's like fashion and there's retail, if you will, and like it's either kind of like a trickle down or like a trickle up situation. And like as of late, well, first I think there was a shift to like streetwear, like that's kind of all that element has always kind of like been a part of, you know, the industry, but like we saw so much of it. I think
Mm-hmm.
pandemic and everybody just kind of like maybe finding like very fun artsy like shoes or like chunky sneakers and things like that to pair with their sweats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Liberties even when it comes to something like a croc or, you know, like a shoe that people wouldn't have like normally worn. Like everyone started kind of like playing up their casual wear, and now you're starting to see more of a trend of like, in my opinion, workwear when it comes to like retail stores. Like I feel like we're starting to see that shift of like people are going back to the office, like you're
Yes.
going into the
Mm-hmm.
here's what you're going to need to live that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a very interesting thing. And we're also kind of like, I think now or recently with like award season, seeing more of these like fun kind of like glam moments
Yes.
again. And it's like something to kind of get excited about because they're actually posting live again, scaling them up, which is really
Mm-hmm.
exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see where we're gonna go next with this.
Yes. Well, I'm loving it. I was watching a show the other night, and there was a guy with a suit on with this boa, and
Ooh,
it was.
yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you see the show?
Exactly what you're talking about. But I am loving seeing like the androgynous
Yes.
like trends, like seeing men be more like feminine. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to red carpets or like expressing themselves in these ways. Like even I think when it comes to like athletes and sports, we do
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I guess them showing up like dressed, like kind of, I don't know, like in a personalized way for games. And now that's kind of one of those big things that's really like shifting culture. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm loving. I'm here for this creative. Like men don't get enough like creative things or fun stuff.
Ties. I remember that was the most creative. So when my son was in school, and he went to a school where they had to wear ties, and he
Oh,
also worked, and so through the school, and it was interesting because company after company, even the president of the company would tell him, "Man, I love that tie," but that was his only individuality. And
no,
socks.
yes,
Now the
yes.
socks and the ties. I love that.
Or
Yeah,
maybe, oh, you know,
a little
a little,
lapel.
yeah, a little
Mm-hmm.
but it was very like they just don't get enough variety. Like I feel like
Yes.
they do the same things over and over again. So now it's pretty like refreshing to
Yes.
like, you know, I don't know, there's like maybe like little kilts or like some like expressive big like bow. Just, you know, even like
Yeah.
the nails and stuff. I'm like, this is kind of fun to see like men allowing themselves to express like
Yes.
creativity in this way.
And the freedom of it all, and
Yes.
the freedom, and I think that helps them to tap inside of different parts of them that normally isn't socially accepted too.
Definitely, definitely. I feel like being allowed to wear, you know, even like the colorful necklaces and things like that. Like like it was probably frowned upon, you know, 15
Hmm.
like to do
You're
that.
right. Even the bracelets.
Yeah, yes. Like
Men didn't used to really do that.
no,
No.
in a watch. You know what I mean? It was
Yes.
just boring, same. You know.
Listen, I remember when earrings was a stretch. A man have a earring in his ear. It was like, oh my gosh, that was a
But
thing. So that meant that he just had to show up just exactly who he was. No additives, no anything. Just black suit, blue suit,
great.
gray suit. That was it.
Yeah, yeah. And like literally the same options for like a chino, a polo. It's like the
Yeah.
exact, and even I can recall, I mean, maybe this is dating me, but like, uh, I can recall when it was like a big thing back in like the early 2000s with like Kanye wearing, you know, like Inks or like Cameron, like all these different like artists wearing these bright colors and like
Mm-hmm.
kind of having fun with color and that being like a cultural shift. But now seeing it like shift in another direction, so where like these guys are really like
Mm-hmm.
they're really pushing some boundaries, and like you said, it's opening or facilitating a place where they can like express things that are like culturally they're taught to like keep these things like dormant. Like
It doesn't make sense in a way because I remember when my son he would wear like pink, that was his, and I was like, why do you want? He's like, Mom, it's just a color.
right,
It's
like
like, well, if you want to break it down like that, it's truly just a color.
it's, it's something like exciting. You know what I mean? Like you only get a couple shirts and like the same pair of pants, you might as
You
well,
do.
you know, spice it up a bit. Like
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
so many varieties. Why?
Yeah. Exactly. And we express ourselves in different ways. You know that.
Definitely, you know,
So,
we can wear any color of the spectrum. Like it should be acceptable for anyone else to know
right.
what it is.
Yeah. Who said pink meant something? Like, who said,
Right. Like,
That's silly.
and why have we all adopted, those like
That's,
kinds of thoughts?
and why, even if we grew up with that, why is it that we still decide to live under such a rule?
Right. I feel like there's really something to be said about challenging a lot of like the trains of thoughts that we grew up with.
Absolutely.
Once you, I think a big part of that is kind of like maybe moving from one place to another.
Mm-hmm.
Like LA is one of those cities where it's just so creative. You meet a lot of different types of people from a lot of different types of places. So it might challenge a lot of the beliefs that you grew up with, and you can either choose to be like rigid about those,
Mm-hmm.
or you can like be more open and like meet new people and kind of like adopt these new or different ways of thinking that challenges those things, and like
Right.
it's
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's kind of, I don't know, it's fun. It's like
And that's growth.
it is
It's growth. I know when I was in the master's class, I think getting my master's, I think that's when that really hit me because there were people from all over the world, and we would have to work in teams and groups, and we would
Mhm.
have to work on these case studies, and you would have just a variety of experience and input. And there were times, what? Why would you think? What? I mean, it was just because it was just so unheard of. And I remember we had one young lady, like, she didn't drive because in her country, women weren't allowed to drive. So, needless to say, even though we were supposed to work on something else, it was like, I need to ask you more questions. You're just okay with that? Like,
Right.
but with us, it was an independence thing with them. With them, it was like a protection, and it was great that you didn't have to do that. So it's all about perspective and how we choose. Like after we learn different ways, do you choose to live your life differently?
Exactly. I feel like as long as it is a choice, like
Right.
you the beauty and being able to choose, what you want for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with people doing things that are not necessarily what you would do. It is very
Mhm.
like hear stories and being exposed to like different types of people.
Yes.
I think
Hey.
that's amazing. Hello, hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
So, what other passions do you have?
Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
I love yoga and dance. I think movement, like anything that's kind of like movement based, is just very fun for me. I think it's artistic in a lot of ways, and I was a cheerleader for a very, very long time. So I think one of the ways that like, I mean, transitioning out of that or time in my life,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I feel like finding different ways to move your body, because I think if you don't, you kind of lose that ability. So
That's
trying to
true.
stay as mobile as possible, and like, yeah, just finding different fun ways to like express.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about
I just want to say hello to those who have joined us.
you?
I am Felecie, Bright with Bright Moments. This is Amber Bond with Blaze and Sparkles. And we're going to talk about our event that we have coming up on February 14th. What's the name of our event?
So it is the greatest love of all. So we're talking about radical self-care and how
Yay!
you love on yourself. Yeah, so join us at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great. It'll be a lot more of this, some in detail things. So make sure you join us, say hello, ask questions.
I'm really excited about it because I've read so many reports in my work about mental health, and it all boils down to a lot of times for many of us self-care, the things that we bring upon ourselves, and just working with entrepreneurs. I see it. I was just on my calls today, and the main topics was I have all these amazing things that are happening, but I'm going to bed at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, right?
Relatable.
And that's what I told her. I was like, first of all, I understand, right? And it doesn't always have to be about worry, right? You can have great things that are happening, and just so many things that are happening at the right time. This event will be online.
On live. You can catch
Instagram,
us
right here. Right here. Yeah. So I think it's important. I think it's relevant. And I think particularly on February 14th, even if you're in a relationship, if you're not in a relationship, if you're in a relationship you don't like, you're unsatisfied,
make your way.
Make your way.
Join us. We
got you.
Yes. Got you covered. Right?
So this is just a preview to that, and we're getting to know Amber a little bit more and each other a little bit more. And just
yes.
This is like a peek into our conversations that we have.
Yes. They're just so refreshing, and I feel like you'll enjoy it. Trust. You'll enjoy. Not necessarily a fly on the wall, because again, ask questions. This is a dialogue. This is a group thing. So
get into it.
Do it. Yes. So I feel like that's super relatable to be up, like as an entrepreneur and having so many things, like being up and like even sometimes feeling burnt out. Like you could have so many great things going on, and because you are tired, you're just like, this happened to me the other day. I was like talking to my friend, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm really, not having a good day or whatever. And she's like, well, I'm like, there's so many things I could be happy about. And she's like, well, name them. So I'm like, okay, maybe I just need a nap.
Yes. Did you take a nap?
I did. I took a nap, and I woke up, and I was like, you know what? That was it. Like, I just needed that rest to change a bit, to give me like the boost, like the refresh, because otherwise, like, girl, you're just tired. Like, nothing was.
That happened to me too. It was weird. It's just this week. And I was trying to figure something out. So I'm in this practice of whenever I'm trying to figure something out, if I just keep hitting the wall, I know that means to stop, walk away, and just be okay. So I kept hitting this wall, and I kept thinking, no, but I know I could probably figure this out. No. And it's like, you know what? Let's just stop and let's just meditate. Because I literally couldn't figure out, YouTube after YouTube, like I'm really trying to figure this out because I'm starting my community.
Yeah.
And I need some things to be clicking for me. I stopped right now. It really was like formatting. What's going to look better? What can enhance the experience? That kind of a thing. I stopped. I meditated. Oh my gosh. It was like a miracle. During the meditation, I literally found it like it all came together. And I was like, there we
The,
go. That's it right
the,
there. The clarity
I,
that only happens in stillness, whether you're asleep, just turn it
mm-hmm.
off.
Yeah,
Yep.
I feel like so often whenever you're working on something, sometimes you're straining your eyes, or you're straining yourself trying to like figure out that thing.
Yep.
But if you take a break, walk away, come back, look at it again with like fresh eyes, fresh,
Yes.
all of that, like you tend to look at it completely differently, and you're like, oh, that might actually be really good. Like it's like good as is,
Yes.
like always change this. It could evolve into something else later, but this is like good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like that was a hard thing for me to learn, is to like let good enough be okay.
Right.
Let it be okay for now. Again, like I said, it could change, it could evolve, it could grow. I could change this tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
but today this is fine. And
Right.
no one know what you might have, envisioned it to be, or like how grandiose you wanted it to be. They're gonna look at it and be like, oh, this is great.
And that's the trick. We think that people are seeing things that we're conceptualizing in our mind in the same way. So we feel like they're going to know I took the paragraph off. No, they're not. They're
How?
going to be grateful it was shorter,
Listen.
but I realized where mine came from. And it came from working in corporate.
Oh,
When I worked in corporate, and I don't want to date myself, but I was the only chocolate person working in law firms as an assistant, as a secretary. Nobody else looked like me.
also, like,
Also, are we here still?
I'm getting chills.
Seriously. And I felt like the weight of the race was on my back. Like I had to be on time. And I was, like young. So I'm still hanging out and, having fun with friends. No, but I was at work. I was at work on time. I had to know things 12 times better than everybody else. I had to know when to speak, when to accelerate, when to pull back, and that whole thing. And it wasn't until years later that I figured out that's where that was coming from. That even like now in this world, I have to like really be mindful of, okay, are you going, is this too much? Like, why are you taking it to this
I
level?
feel like it is definitely one of those things that's like taught and ingrained. Like we have the pressure, and I understand where it comes from. It's kind of like that, like the concept of the talented tenth. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like if you are in this space, that is because you are exceptional, and you might be the first and the only person that they ever interact with. So there's an
Mm-hmm.
element of pressure that comes with that, and you
Absolutely.
being a representative for everybody as opposed to being you and being a representative of you know. And I feel like my one of my first jobs was actually at a law firm. I was supposed to be an intern in a program where I was like supposed to get all this exposure, but I spent the bulk of my time at the front desk or in the mailroom. And I think the only other Black people were also at the front desk and in the mailroom.
Mm.
It was very interesting seeing like this dynamic, and kind of like just, yeah, like
Yeah.
the name with it, the way that like my name is very simple. It's Amber, like sometimes people would just forget my name and call me Ashley or something like that. And like how I was kind of like, I had to choose or strategize how I'm going to respond to this. And
Mm-hmm.
like I have to be so strategic with how I'm going to like engage with this kind of thing, or like it's too much. It's way too much pressure. It's way too
Yeah.
much pressure. No one,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of other cultures and people, they don't have to think like this.
That's true.
You
That's true.
like we shouldn't have to think like this.
Mm-hmm. But
We're not the problem.
we've been carrying on that pressure, I think, for a long time. And I think even as entrepreneurs, we continue on with that, oh my gosh, it has to be this, it has to be that. Because
Mm-hmm.
if not, and it's like, no, it's probably great. And you can have future iterations of it.
It's the it,
And you should have future iterations of it to make it better, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I have
Yeah.
that frequently, just kind of like, okay, again, this time is better than it was last time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. it'll get better next time because
Yep.
I'll learn something. I'll, you know what I mean, think bigger or whatever. Like each time I'm exposed to something new, I'll take what I learned and I'm like, you know, it'll get bigger, it'll get better.
Yes.
And that's okay to like allow everybody else in to kind of like
Mm-hmm.
see, not
Mm-hmm.
that, but to see my progress.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to, you know, like, and that's okay to have that level of like vulnerability. I don't have to be perfect, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
it's not realistic to be expected to be a perfect person, you
Right.
know, just because I'm a like
And I think you said it last night. And we were talking, and you said something like, "I'm just human." You know, we're only human.
we are.
You know, that's it.
And
Yeah.
I would extend the grace to anyone else to make
Exactly.
it to, you know, have human expression, human, you know, reactions to things. But yet when it comes to ourselves, like it's so
There's no grace.
there's
Yeah.
no talk to my best friend. Sometimes the way that like, you know, I will have dialogue with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right. 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 Yep.
I
Yep.
have to be mindful and be like gentle and extend copious amounts of
Yes.
grace.
And be your own best friend.
Be your own best friend. Okay? You
So a question. Oh, what did you
somebody
say?
ready for the question?
How long have you been an entrepreneur? It's two parts. How long have you been an entrepreneur, and why did you become an entrepreneur?
Okay. So I started Blazing Sparkles in 2019.
Okay.
Um, and it's something that I knew that I always wanted to have a boutique. Like at least in college, it was something that I knew I wanted to do at some point. I'm like when, how, I don't know, but I want to figure this out. So started in 2019 with, you know, all of my little baby steps. Like I would save, like file my paperwork, go do these things, set up all these things, like little things here and there. And yeah, so it's been a couple years now. I feel like the pandemic made it very difficult for me as a business or as an entrepreneur, like trying to navigate the pivot of
Mm.
world, like what my expectations were or what I wanted for the business versus what was happening in the world and like how like it couldn't be this at the time. You know what I mean? So just having to like navigate that was a very
Mm.
tough, like very, very tough. I think I did okay. But
What is it you think you learned about yourself in that process that you didn't
um
already know, or that was heightened in that process?
I think my level of resilience was heightened, like, or maybe even like the ability to kind of like find the good and keep pushing. You know what I mean? It was like,
Mm.
okay, I can't have that right now. You know, there'll be a time where maybe like I can shift back to that or whatever the case is, but here's what it needs to be focused on. Like, here's what we collectively might need or what, you know, it seems like this is the collective focus right now. So how can I support that? And you know what I mean? Just kind of like put that aside and be okay with it and like not have a meltdown every
Mm-hmm.
time.
Right.
Like how can I focus and like make the best out of this situation?
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. Um, during that time, boy, I lost like two jobs. My son moved. I became an empty nester. Our family dog went to heaven.
Yeah,
I know. And I was just, what am I gonna do? And it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna do what I like doing,
mm-hmm.
and just be all in,
Seriously,
you know?
do the best you can, be all in, focus your energies on like this thing, and
Yes.
like here you are,
Yeah.
here you are.
And grow though, I really have to say I used the opportunity to grow a lot. I
Definitely.
got into some circles that really stretched me beyond my comfort zone and got me in tune to some things willingly, because I was already, in a situation that I didn't want to be in.
Right.
So now let me strategically place myself in positions that's going to enhance my life.
Yes, facilitate that growth. I feel like we don't talk about that growing pain of, so many moments in life, like the discomfort, like it's so necessary for the growth, but
Yeah.
it's tricky because you're like, do I really do I have to
Yeah.
like this? So
I get it. I understand. We can, you can soar me up now.
does it have to go like this,
Yes,
But it's necessary for like the next level. And once you get on
it
the other,
is.
you can appreciate it a bit,
Right.
like for whatever it was. Like, I mean, I too had a couple layoffs during that time.
Yeah.
It was not fun, not the most ideal situation, but I managed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like honestly, things just kept moving, and like things kept moving, and like things just worked out kind of like, I don't even know. Like I feel like I was just manifesting things left and right, and it was kind of scary sometimes. I just feel like, oh yeah, this is about to happen, and then it just would.
Yeah.
And yeah, like push through, push through.
Yes. And that's the reason why our mindset and understanding the greatest love of all is so important, right? Why we have to make sure that we are mindful of how we're caring for ourselves inside and out,
Inside,
because that affects
it
everything.
really does. It really does. Like it's easy to wallow and
Right.
like happening, but you can choose. You can actively choose
Absolutely.
that, or you can choose joy. You know what I mean? And like these tough times, like you can, and that is to me, I feel like an act of resilience. It's
Mm-hmm.
for people of color, like to choose to find ways to express yourself and like, I don't know, dance and like,
Mm-hmm.
sing, like find some joy.
Yes.
Like,
And see, that makes me want to circle back when we were talking about before with the men and being limited, and who said this about
mhm,
the color? Who
mhm,
said that when uncomfortable change happens, that we have to just be down and wallow and we have to accept it a certain way? Who says that? Sure, we're human. We're going to feel some things.
right.
So you have your moment, and then what are you doing? Like, how are you coming back? How are you understanding the fact that I'm going to, as long as I keep moving forward and speaking things and using my words to, navigate my path, things will happen. It's not going to stay like this
Right.
forever. Who says that you have to be a certain way in order to progress through? Who said that?
I have no idea where that comes from. Like, what that narrative is, what I mean? Like, why that was forced, or like,
I
I mean, I have
got it.
where it comes from, but
Wait, hold on. Why is being a victim so appealing?
oh, well, I probably honestly, it's relatable. You know what I mean?
Mm,
The reality is like there are times in everyone's life, like no one is exempt from pain.
true.
You know what I mean? No one is
Absolutely.
exempt from like certain things or like feeling, and as much as people try not to feel, like you are not exempt from like negativity and things like that. So I think it's just kind of relatable to
Mm-hmm.
everyone. Can like that feeling can resonate with you, but and I get it. I understand, you know what I mean? But also, like, you can choose
Mm-hmm.
forever. You can choose that. That is fine if that is your choice. But it's like you can also choose to actively take some steps towards getting something else or changing that narrative,
Yeah.
like at any time, you
Mhm.
know, your story or this,
Exactly.
which road are you going to take?
Mhm. See, I think it's just because it's easy, and people looking for the easy path, and that's why I think it's so important to have grit.
100%,
You know,
100%. I
I mean, it's when you find out what you're really made of. You know, I can appreciate people who put themselves in that position, not put themselves in a position to just tackle the challenge to
true.
try to get the big win. I was watching this really cool game show that's out this new, and they had an opportunity to either go back to the floor or to just face off with somebody who was like a big threat. I can
Okay.
appreciate people who are like, I'm gonna take on the big threat because I came to win. I came to play. And then there's some when their name is called, it's like they're all like scared. I'm like, well, you know what this show is about. Why are you acting like that? You want to play or what? And that's how I feel about success. You want to succeed or what?
That no, I agree. I feel like there's something to be said about, again, making that choice to just like be to be unhappy, to be, you know what I mean, miserable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think it's an easy choice, honestly. I feel like it's just like, oh, okay, I give up.
Yep.
Like, I'm cool, but you're not.
Right, right. Why lie?
Right? Why lie to yourself? Like, if you want something different, no, it's not going to be easy, but actively choose
Yep.
to figure that out.
Right. Yeah. Get a coach.
Hello, get it
Um,
on.
get
Okay.
a coach. Get you a new outfit on.
Listen,
Inside and out.
and then holler at Felicia and get your coach, okay? You know, revamp, like start it.
Choose.
Yeah,
Because I think there's something to be said about I want better, but I'm struggling to get better. And I'm just keeping it real. I'm struggling. And I don't want to spend another moment in the struggle.
that, that,
Right?
that. Like, you don't have to. You don't have to. Like, you do not have to, okay? You can figure it out. You can take a little bit and start working on your things. Like, you can figure out how to, like, I don't want to say hustle because I don't necessarily love the idea of like the hustle culture,
Yes.
but
Ditto.
you can figure out how to navigate out of this thing.
Yes.
Like, you have to make the conscious decision. Like, I think that it starts with your mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you have to know how to power it. It's just like your phone. You need to power
Mm-hmm.
down, right? And once you power down, let everything reset and recalibrate to something new. And then you have to continuously do things, stay charged,
Yes.
right? So your battery is full so that it's long lasting experience. It's just that
Yes.
simple. It's just that simple. That's what we do at Bright Moments. Join the community.
And how can they join the community?
Actually, drop me a DM. I'm going to be dropping the link later on today. But yes, drop a DM. Let me know you want to be a part of the community because this kind of stuff is going to be going on every day, all day. Maybe not every day, all day, but you know what I'm
But
saying.
you know, you will have the access to
You
these content,
will.
and you want that directly. So slide into her DMs and then figure that out. Like,
Yes.
this is something that you find interesting.
And
Yeah.
check out Amber's website. Amber, what's the website? Tell us about, first of all, tell us about the concept. Tell us about your boutique. Tell us about what you have.
So, okay, Blaze and Sparkles is essentially a curated boutique with clothing and accessories for women. I have things that cater to women who are going to work and kind of like going to work and then going out for play after. You know, also things that are centered around like self-care, yoga, meditation, you know, those comfy clothes, those things that you can move in. And then, like I said, some other lots of little accessories and things that you could use to like spice up your wardrobe. I feel like those are the elements that we often forget. Like, you can transform anything with some really, really cool accessories. Like that is what kind of makes and breaks looks sometimes. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, just go on over to www.blazonsparkles.com. You can find the link in the bio.
Yes.
Yes, lots of things.
Amber, last question I have for you. Talk to me about clothes and attitudes and mindsets. I know that I give people advice on physical things that they can do to change your state and to elevate their mindset. Talk to me a little bit about clothes. Does it matter what I have on?
I feel like it does. Like, okay, for example, if you were going to hmm, if you had a meeting with someone who could change your trajectory, would you rather go to this meeting in sweatpants and your Crocs? Or would you rather show up looking like your idea of someone who has that job or who plays that role? You know what I mean? I think it like the way that you dress and the way that you show up and present yourself plays a key role in how you are received a lot of times, like how seriously you might be taken. As much as I don't like that, is the case, it just is reality, and you'll feel better. I think there's something to be said about wearing something that makes you feel good, and then like that kind of like that energy radiates from you when you feel good about yourself. Like, I don't know. I think that is the best part about it. Like, just having that radiant energy from
Mm,
putting on your favorite dress, your favorite pair of pants, your cute top or blazer. Like, I think it's extremely important, and it's underrated more often than not. Additionally, if it's something that you don't like to do, that's fine. I think that there are ways to outsource it to make it a little bit more digestible for people and to make it like, or to add some ease. Because
hmm.
again, that going shopping is not fun for everybody. I too have been stuck in a garment in a fitting room and been like, this sucks. So I can appreciate getting a package in the comfort of my home, being able to try it on to see if I like it, if I need a, style tip, maybe someone like you can hop on a chat and giving you those things. Yeah. So I
That's a personal experience right there. I didn't know you were creating experiences for people.
oh yes, yes. I feel like so live chat is always available on the website. If ever anyone has questions about sizing or they want to figure out how they can wear something, if they're not really sure about it, it is always an option to hop on live chat. If no one is available to chat at the moment, you will get an email response back. So it's very like a personal thing that is available
Nice,
for clients.
nice.
Yes.
So, is there anything else you want to share before we hop off IG Live?
Hmm. Just make sure that you are present on February 14th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you have any tips or anything that you want to like leave the people with?
The thing I probably am thinking about right now is surrounding yourself with people who serve you well. I'm not just saying this because I have a community and you can feel free to drop, your info in my DM or put it in the chat. I'm not just saying it because of that. But I'm saying it because, just meeting you and then this exchange, it's so great to meet like-minded professionals that you really can vibe with and then you just kind of like attract to the other person and have all these great conversations and every time we talk it's just so uplifting. And these are the types of people that you want in your community to elevate yourself,
Oh,
which is our motto in the community. Encourage yourself and encourage others because as we encourage who we are, we
yeah,
need to reach out and encourage other people.
great
So,
things. These are the
yes.
bright, okay? If
Come through, Amber. Yes.
the right moment. So, but you join.
Yes. Yes. And we will see you February 4th. 4 o'clock
Yeah,
Pacific Standard Time, Instagram Live.
Instagram Live. All right. Bye.